All right. Can you see me, sir? And
I
hear me?
can see you. I can hear you. I can see. Oh, I just noticed that your shirt has patterns. I didn't notice that.
No, man, look at you. You really can see me.
I can. I didn't notice that before. Were they like little penguins?
Actually, they are birds.
Well, penguins. Penguins are birds.
Well, that's true, but they're not penguins. All right, my friend. I am ready to jump in.
I'm ready.
Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is Let's Talk Cobra Kai. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Sal Rodriguez.
All right. Hey, say that again, Sal. Kind of cut out for a second.
And I'm Sal Rodriguez.
All right, Sal. We are back for another special episode. And I know we say that a lot, but this is a collection of 4 very special episodes, Sal. And I'm happy that we're at the 3rd one.
Yeah. And a revisit, right? A comeback around.
I come back around. Yes.
A reach around.
Hello. We are definitely going back in time and revisiting our version of The Karate Kid Part 3, 1989, scene by scene breakdown, re-release. We are doing
you
this.
want to have a sequence of things.
It is a sequence of things because I wanted to go back. It's been a long time since these episodes were on the podcast, right? So if a new fan or a avid fan wants to go back and like, oh, I want to hear the trilogy and the scene by scene breakdowns, you got to go hunt for them, right? Yes, Karate Kid is the first episode, but the other ones are sprinkled in. And so I wanted to go back, also talk about where we were in that space and time when we did these, because we did them all in different places, and put them in a row, like boom, 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 right in a row for people. And so we're not redoing it. We're actually taking the old content and putting some window dressing on the beginning of it and then leading you in, because our intros, Sal, are not even our intros now. There was no just curious.
Yeah.
And I think on some of them early on, I'm doing no mercy. Yeah, we just were winging it. So yeah, now we kind of have a style. You do several hundred episodes together collectively for Just Curious, but we're definitely pushing the 150 mark. And Let's Talk Cobra Kai territory. So you begin to get a style. So it's kind of fun. I also think our fans, if they haven't heard it in a while, hearing us then, I think it's fun.
I wonder if we sound younger, or how
Totally
like when you
younger.
listen, if we were to rewatch season 1, episode 1 through 10 of Cobra Kai itself,
Yeah. Oh, they look
uh,
super young.
everybody looks to be. I wonder if do we sound young and when
Yeah.
we did it in 2020?
Hey, Sal, what's up? We're like chipmunks.
Hi, Jason. No mercy.
Yeah, just speed it up. Just play it faster. No, a lot of fun. So I haven't myself gone back and listened to the scene by scene breakdowns in quite some time. So this will be an opportunity for me and you as well to listen to these new episodes with this new content on the front of them and play them through. The content's great, no doubt about it. Now, maybe many years down the road, we could revisit the movies again and maybe do a director's commentary or even do a scene by scene breakdown again. I'm sure we would have some different takes.
Yeah.
But this episode was originally, and it is still there, it's going to stay where it is, episode 28. So that's how long ago it goes back, Sal. Goes back a ways. We recorded it October 16th, 2020. How about that? It feels like ages ago.
Everybody remembers 2020.
2020.
How can we forget it?
We released it October 28th, 2020. So I needed a little, a few days, couple weeks to turn it around. It's a big movie. The running time was 2 hours and 13 minutes and 20 seconds. Now, I don't know if we need the seconds. That episode's going to be longer because we're padding it. This new intro is going to be on the top of that. But the movie itself is an hour 52. So we extended past the movie because I had a lot of things to say about All Valley in the Karate Kid Part 3. No doubt about it. I wasn't happy about that. That's well documented.
Jason, I think you're going to be like one day in a senior living facility.
Hey, wow.
You'll
You
be
mean
like
50 years from now?
50 years from now, you'll be in a senior living facility and they'll be like, come on, Mr. Connell, we need to get you to bed. And you're like, that All Valley? They just changed the rules.
Yeah, all about. Listen to me. Karate Kid Part 3 is on TV somewhere, or someone
Yeah,
has
yeah,
it on
yeah.
Netflix, and I'm like,
Classic television tonight.
no, no. I have learned to love this movie. I appreciate the Karate Kid Part 3 even more now than when we did this episode. When we did this episode, I had only seen it, I think, 2 times, and then I did it once more for notes, ever 3 times. But I began to like look at it differently, like, wow, they're at the Enos house, and yeah, this whole intro, it's really dark and really fun to revisit. So there's so much richness in there now. Yeah, there's some eye roll. So as Mr. Miyagi and Daniel dangle over the side of the cliff, like looking like they're rappelling, like, okay, I don't need that per se. And the All Valley was an afterthought. And I think if we ever get Ralphmacchio on the show, I think he's got some things to say about the Karate Kid 3 as well. It's not his fondest. Trust me on that.
No, I think he's gone on record
Yes, he has
saying,
gone on record.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think he has. Yeah. So, but here's the but. The light at the end of the tunnel
Yes.
is that today, after Cobra Kai season 5,
Yep.
has completely redeemed Karate Kid
Completely.
Part 3.
Completely.
Right?
We have
we
villains
love,
from the, yeah, absolutely.
yeah, we love to hate Terry Silver. If it weren't
Yep.
for Karate Kid 3, we wouldn't have Terry Silver today.
There's so much good stuff in it. It's a great feeder for the show. It's great canon for the show. And the canon stops here. But maybe not if there's one Hillary Swank. But we'll save that for the next revisit, if you will.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'm going to read now our synopsis, which is currently tied to this episode and will continue to be there. But I just like going back and revisiting this. So here it goes. Jason Connell and Sal Rodriguez break down the classic movie and talk about living next to Mr. Miyagi's little trees, Daniel becoming a Cobra Kai, and platonic relationships. Well, we really covered it there. Now, the Mr. Miyagi's little tree reference is I did live next to it, decades later, and unbeknownst to me at the time, it's when I watched the movie again years later in 2020. I was like, wait a second. I lived in Mount Washington, Los Angeles, which is by Highland Park and Pasadena and Eagle Rock, and they filmed that. The scene, little trees, Mr. Miyagi's little trees, all that was in Highland Park and right by the railroad tracks. I know the area. It's changed when I lived there, but that is it. Reservoir Dogs had some scenes nearby. Caddyshack filmed at a house right there as well, Danny Noonan's house. The rest of the movie was, I think, shot in Florida. But I love it now. Seeing that connection really bonded it to me. And then, of course, the next point, Daniel becoming a Cobra Kai. Sal, mind-blowing.
Yeah. As much as we'd love to forget about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's
he
get
did.
over it.
He became a Cobra Kai, was under the tutelage of one Terry Silver, the evil tutelage.
Totally
the master
evil.
plan, make
Yep.
his knuckles bleed.
Yep.
Yeah, it was tough to see.
And then platonic relationships, because Jessica and Daniel really, really never. It was kind of clunky. Like, are
That made
they
me laugh.
something?
You added that.
Yeah,
you
I
added
did.
that platonic.
Yeah,
that makes me laugh. Makes me laugh.
well, because during the episode that we recorded, you talked about relationships like this, so I was like, yeah, and we were talking about it, and it kind of happened.
Well, male-female platonic relationships are interesting. They're interesting. Yeah. There's a lot of controversy surrounding them. It's like you can't just be friends without people whispering and allegedly and they're probably doing this. Nobody just accepts the fact that a man and a woman, especially a young man, a young woman, can be friends.
Well, I'm here to say that Daniel and Jessica were that. She was getting over an ex. She moved back to Ohio, but she introduced Daniel to Amanda. So there's your platonic relationship paying off.
So there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Recent Cobra Kai completely legitimizing Karate Kid 3.
Exactly. Completely. Now, I'm now going to read the synopsis from the movie, The Karate Kid Part 3. Ostracized villain John Kreese attempts to gain revenge on Daniel and Miyagi with the help of a Vietnam War comrade, the wealthy owner of a toxic waste disposal business. I love that Miyagi lost the mister there in the synopsis. He needs
Yeah, and I would have
Mister.
liked Terry Silver to be mentioned. That would be nice.
Yeah, by name, by name.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
completely agree. But it's better than, well, maybe not, but it's not a bad synopsis. I think when we read
No,
over the
no.
last two, it
It
was like, ah,
describes
that's
it.
kind of off point. It's there.
It's
Yeah.
descriptive. And wait, so wait, does Terry Silver still have the toxic waste disposal business, or is he in another type of business? Remember, we used to talk about
Yeah.
he's probably in crypto now.
Yeah, he's moved on. This is 89. This is the 80s. He still had that, Borneo. Hey, yeah, he's making deals in the bathtub and the bubble bath with his assistant there when Mike Barnes comes in. There's so much goodness to go back and revisit now. Like, I'm so happy that the Karate Kid Part 3 exists, but there was a time that I thought this is ridiculous. So it's only because Cobra Kai made it cool again. They could still fix All Valley. And I that's just something that it's such a tacked
What can
on
they do?
thing.
What
Well, they
can they
could,
do
you know what
today?
they could do? They could re-release the Karate Kid Part 3 with an actual All Valley. It's 15 more, minutes running time, but they fixed the problem. Anyway, that's that. So now, Sal, just to give, an homage and credit where credit's due, why don't you give us a rundown of who made the Karate Kid Part 3, the cast and crew?
Director John G. Avildsen. Let me start over. Director John G. Avildsen. Writer Robert Mark Kamen. Cinematographer Steve Yaconelli. Cast ralphmacchio, patmorita, Robyn Lively, Thomas Ian Griffith, Martin Kove, Sean Kanan. Composer Bill Conti. Producer Jerry Weintraub. I feel like I'm an announcer for the Oscars.
Yeah, you did great. And the Razzie goes to the Karate Kid Part 3. No, that's an amazing cast. I mean, so many of them. The cinematographer was new, but everybody else, well, okay, except for the newer cast, but the key players are coming over from the first two films. No, we don't have williamzabka. I get it. We have some new people in Thomas Ian Griffith and, of course, Sean Kanan, but everyone else comes over, and it's incredible. So I guess that's why even the clunkiness works, because it has so much of these people, these players there. Essentially the story should have been refined a bit more, but great cast. And we've lost some of these people, some of the crew. We've lost Avildsen, we've lost patmorita, the cast, and we've lost Jerry Weintraub, who kind of put a lot of this in motion. And so rest in peace to all of you greats. We wouldn't have so many great movies without them. And yeah, so I'm very fond, and I'm also very fond of our episode, our scene by scene breakdown, Sal. Really, I was reluctant. You were telling me like, hey, man, we got to do that third one. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And then watching it again, and we delved into it, and it was something else. It's really good, and we should probably go back and enjoy it again ourselves.
I'm also reminded, Jason, that the scene in the movie when Martin Kove is walking as John Kreese, all dejected,
Oh
walking
yeah.
down the street,
Yeah.
about to walk into the
Dojo.
dojo.
Yep.
That's right over here.
Right over there.
I'm
You're
literally,
right down the
I'm,
street from it.
I'm maybe 1 mile, maybe
Can
more
you
like three
do the
quarters of a mile.
dejected crease walk? Can you just
He has like a
reenact that?
bag. Does he have a bag?
Yeah, he's just kind of
Didn't he have that
males
sort of like
all
a
stacked up.
Bill Bixby? Remember the end of the Incredible Hulk? Bill Bixby hitchhiking at the end. He kind of had
Oh,
that look, sort of like
oh
the
yeah.
the dejected wanderer look walking down the
Unshaven.
street. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like a military coat. Didn't have a military jacket on.
I don't know
I
about a
thought he had.
You're thinking of Rambo now. You're going into First
Maybe,
Blood
maybe
territory.
I'm confusing
Isn't
Sylvester
he?
Stallone.
He's Stallone, right? And then
Doesn't he have a knife?
Brian
Doesn't
Denny
doesn't John
pulls up.
Kreese have a
Yeah,
giant
yeah, he's got a
knife?
survival knife. Yeah, yeah. Wrong movie. So you got Cinematographer's getting crossed over. Well, and I said this earlier on, and I'll end this episode with this. We were in different places, not just in our lives, but I mean,
Yeah,
physically. We did
yeah.
the Karate Kid, the original, together in studio, which then we did the first two seasons of Cobra Kai. And then we were on a hiatus because there was no season 3. And we were like, okay, well, that show's on pause. And then a
Yeah.
pandemic hits. And then
Yes.
our first well, in the midst of pandemic recording was the Karate Kid Part 2. We started to do remote recording. We solved all those riddles. And so we were both in Los Angeles, but just doing it remotely. And then I left Los Angeles and this was our first one. Well, no, it wasn't, but it was our first scene by scene breakdown. I'm halfway across the country. I was in Oklahoma visiting family, and we did this episode there. And then we did the next Karate. Well, we'll save that one. So we've always been in different places when we're doing the trilogy and the scene by scene breakdown. How about that?
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
It's almost like it was meant to be for some reason. I don't know
You know,
why. But
I don't know how
I
you
don't know
read
why it
it.
was meant to be, but I don't know
Yeah.
why it was meant to be. It was like it was meant to be.
It was.
Well, I think, you've, I think, kind of the whole remote podcasting thing. You like. I never would have considered that personally.
Yeah.
You really brought that into my life, and you've done a great job.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it forced me to think outside the box. And then, I don't want to take full credit, but all these new apps and opportunities like Zooms and Riverside and, all Ringer, all these companies were launching because people were going remote, not just for remote working, but remote podcasters. But yes, those tools are nice when you have just a random guest on and you want to make it easy for them. But when you're recording all the time, we record locally and we use those interfaces just to interact. Right. And so it was
Don't give away our trade secrets, Jason.
But it's key and it allows us. It sounds like we're still in the same studio, but it's better because we have our own individual tracks. So kudos to us. But anyway, I hope our fans enjoy the revisit of re-release, the delve back into our scene by scene breakdown of the Karate Kid Part 3, and the fact that they're going to be in order in April for you to do deep dives and point things out. And hey, tell us how much you loved it, please.
Jason, can people just do automatic, or when people are listening to their podcasts, in this instance, Let's Talk Cobra Kai, can they just like listen to an episode, leave it alone, and then the next one will start? Auto start of the next episode?
I know that you can do that with Apple Podcast if you click that feature within your own app. You can control that. Yeah, you could just be like one to the next, to the next, to the next. Other times
so
you got to stop and hit one. Yeah.
A person could just like Karate Kid 2, Karate Kid 3. Next Karate Kid, just like one after the other, just nonstop.
They could do it if they wanted to.
Why not?
I like it. Let's do a challenge. Who does it? Who can do it? I know one super fan abroad that could do it. Kido-kan 80.
That would be, Kido-kan 80. That would be an interesting challenge, like a TikTok challenge. Or that the plank challenge, that they keep raising the bar on plank. There's like 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. People are planking for 5-6 hours. What if you like most?
What?
Yeah. It's like
I can do 5 minutes. I'm good.
You can do 5-minute plank?
Yeah.
Okay, I can only do 2. I've only done 2.
I can do 5.
I can't do 5. I'll try 5 though. I'll take that challenge. But
that wasn't a challenge, but take it.
See how long you can listen to our show.
Yeah, I like that. I did every episode. They're gonna imitate us, emulate us. Well, anyway, Sal, we got to wrap it up. Otherwise, we're gonna make this as long as the scene by scene breakdown. But thank you again. So without further ado, please enjoy
The Karate Kid Part 3.
So thank you so much for listening, and please be sure to subscribe to the Let's Talk Cobra Kai podcast and the Let's Talk Cobra Kai YouTube live channel. You can also really help us by giving the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast.
And for all you listeners that enjoy sharing your thoughts, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, send us a direct message, or post a comment on any Let's Talk Cobra Kai social media platform.
And before I say our last goodbye, I just realized that I had not swiped our logo to show the Karate Kid Part 3 poster. And I would be remiss if I had forgotten that. So there it is. Nice, it's a beautiful poster. It's really, it's truly, it fits right in line with the other movies. And there it is for all you viewers. We also highly recommend checking out our other podcast and visiting justcuriousmedia.com.
No mercy.
Great job.